All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chig from Guna Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. That's right, I'm about to review Cojones Day. Cojones Day. That's right, Arsenal just beat Watford 2-0. And yeah, it was an interesting day. The match was a fast-paced match. It wasn't a dull match, actually. I actually quite enjoyed it. Even when we were 0-0, I kind of felt like Watford are playing our game a little bit, because it was very clear from the offset watching this match that they had one plan: try to physically dominate us. But you can see this game, to me, was a real good illustration. If you wanted to pick out a game in our first, 8 Premier League games, and you wanted to think, right, what can I watch to demonstrate how far we've come as a club? This was it. This was it. Because on another day, Watford would have beaten us today. Not because I think they became that close. I think we gave them a lot of chances. Let's face it, it's Arsenal. I don't care who you are, we will give you an opportunity to score a goal or two. If you take it, that's your business, but we will give you a couple of opportunities. Santa Claus is a very accurate description for us. And boy, did we try at times. I felt like Mustafi and Kolasinac and Xhaka in particular were big culprits. Before you start, yes, I thought both improved in the second half, but their first half was abysmal. Whether it was Mustafi doing his, Jamaican bobsleigh team impression, or whether it was Xhaka just constantly giving the ball away. It was just like, oh, come on, people. What the fuck is going on? But the more the game played out, because Watford were using a lot of energy. They clearly set out, fair play to them. They could have gone there and just sat. But they thought, no, this is Arsenal. Let's get in their faces and see what's what. It's worked for them. Let's face it, it's worked for them in the past. And in fact, one of the things that I felt that they were guilty of when they last came to the Emirates is they didn't do enough of that. And that's how I felt that we won. But it reverted back to the style that got them the victory last season at Watford. And they were very much in our faces. And, a Wenger team would have folded here. Wenger's Arsenal would have folded, and we have, to Watford. We don't have the greatest of luck against Watford. Like I say, last Emirates trip aside, generally they don't have a bad record against us. But they were using up a lot of energy. And in my mind, I was sat here thinking, this ain't going to work out well for you guys. It really ain't going to work out well for you guys. And slowly but surely, you could see, particularly towards the end of the first half, we started to gain more and more control. I think we were unlucky with a couple of chances. Lacazette missed. I don't know how he missed some of the chances. He should have had at least, we're being conservative, 2 goals. At least. Had a penalty claim as well. You could have argued that success, I don't want that success anywhere near. I don't want that kind of success. I don't want that success anywhere near the Nigerian football team. Because I tell you what, he should have finished his opportunity as well. But I just felt like as the game was kind of unfolding, we were taking control. And bar a kind of a 5-minute spell around the 75th minute, we eventually scored. And a lot of that, whether you say I'm biased or not, a lot of that came with the introduction of Alex Iwobi. I think it took about 5 minutes for him to get going. And then when he started to get going, you could see him. And then also with the introduction of Welbeck, who, believe me, that's no criticism of Aubameyang. I actually thought Aubameyang did a different type of job today. I thought defensively he worked very well, very hard, was really tracking back to try and make up that extra man of defense. And I think it helped. But just bringing on some freshness in Welbeck and then Iwobi, I think Iwobi I don't know what has happened to Iwobi this season, but please, oh please, let that fucking continue. Because to me, he just looks sharper. He looks more confident. He's making the right decisions. Before with Iwobi, and I think we can all agree on this, our frustrations is he looks like he's caught between 3 or 4 different thoughts, and then is often left doodling on the ball, and then he does something that isn't quite any one of those 4 thoughts. Whereas now he makes a decision and goes with it. It's almost as like Emre has just basically told him, listen, instead of thinking about 3 or 4 things you want to do, just think about what you actually want to do and do it. Make that decision and do it. If it doesn't come off, don't worry, but just continue, keep pushing yourself, keep going, and try it again, and try it again, and try it again. Because that's all he seems to be doing. I spoke a lot last year. Sorry, I'm babbling now, but let me just go back to Iwobi for a second. I spoke a lot about last year that for me, I felt like his biggest problem was he wasn't playing enough percentage balls. So sometimes he was trying to thread the ball between 3 or 4 different players, and you're like, Iwobi, stop doing that. Whereas now he's just playing a simple ball, nice and easy, getting the ball back, nice and easy, playing the ball again. Running off the player once he plays that simple pass, giving an extra option. And all of these things are starting to unfold in a positive way for Iwobi. And I think today, even though he came on as a sub, fuck it, I'm giving him my man of the match. Fuck it. Yeah, I know I normally do my player ratings tomorrow, and I will when I do that live with a couple of guests that I'm going to bring on. But to me, I thought he was man of the match. I thought his instant impact just added an extra layer onto what we already had. I felt Lacazette worked hard. Listen, he did miss some chances today, but I would rather a striker is still getting those opportunities to miss those chances instead of not getting those opportunities at all. That's where I'd be more worried. You know, this was just a bad, I say bad, this just wasn't his day in terms of goals. But he was still causing problems. Arguably, he was the reason for the first goal, together with Iwobi. I mean, Iwobi's, the way he kind of did this give and go and then crossed the ball. And then Alex Lacazette was wrestling, I can't remember the name of that defender, wrestling with the defender. It looked like, I think a lot of people on Twitter thought it was actually Lacazette's goal, but to me, I saw the own goal straight away. It was definitely an own goal. But you could see how the defender made the own goal. You could see how he scored it. And it was 1-0. And then pretty much shortly after that, another goal involving Iwobi, laid it off, I believe, to Lacazette, who then laid it off to Ozil. And then before you knew it, it was 2-0. I feel like I said Lacazette. I bet it's fucking well bet. Anyway, either way, it was then 2-0. It was finished by Ozil. And all from the instant impact of Alex Iwobi. And I said it on Twitter and I'll say it again. There's been a lot of talk about character and how we defend and you know, strength and, you know, the fact that we're soft touches and cojones. Well, Iwobi dipped his cojones all up in Deeny's mouth. And Deeny, he had a couple of opportunities himself, but he was largely ineffective today. And yeah, it'd be interesting to get his take on today's match. You know, this ain't a banger Arsenal. This ain't a soft touch Arsenal. You know, if you come and play that bully shit with us, we're about that life. You know, we've had 2 main problems for the last 3 years. You know, when we get bullied by some of these smaller teams and then the big teams. Dare I say it? Maybe it's a bit premature. Dare I say it? I think we're starting to solve this bully shit. I think we're starting to solve, I think we're more or less there in terms of solving that problem. Our next big task is taking on these big teams. But yeah, for me, I'm happy, man. I'm happy with the performance in the end. I'm happy that we kept another clean sheet. I mean, what the fuck? What's going on? 2 in a row? Wow. And on to the next one. On to the next one. So Europa League for us now. The only downside to today was the fact that Chig came off. Looks like a nasty hamstring injury. The commentators said it, and I kind of agree with the commentators. It almost feels like a passing of the guard now. I mean, if you're Petr Cech and you have some sort of ambition to perhaps get another contract after this year as the Arsenal #1, I kind of suspect that may have started to disappear now, because you just felt like, oh, this was the worst time for this to have happened to Cech. He was in such good form. And then on top of that, I actually thought Leonard came on and did really well. It was an opportunity pretty much as soon as the second half started, where Watford really should have scored, and he made a brilliant save to his left-hand side. So I don't know with Cech. I don't know, man. If I'm Cech, I'm hoping I hurry back real quick. Make sure Leonard don't get too comfortable in that #1 spot. But all in all, good. Also, another shout out to Rob Holding. I thought another really good performance next to Mustafi. There was only one opportunity towards the end where I think it was actually the success chance where I felt like he switched off a little bit. But largely, I thought was very, very good. I thought Torreira was excellent. Torreira was excellent. Lacazette, shout out. Aubameyang, like I said, I thought worked hard. Ozil, Ramsey. But it is what it is. On to the next one. I'm happy, man. You guys let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments below. Were you happy with the performance? What sort of critique would you have? Leave it in the comments below. If you like this video, crush, destroy, drop kick the shit out of that like button. And yes, before you all say it, somebody got a haircut. How do you like the fade, boys? How do you like the fade, boys and girls? You like that? Yeah. I like that. I ain't gonna lie, I'm feeling it. The only problem is now I'm getting older. Every time they give me a haircut, they take my hairline a little bit further back. I don't like this. What's all this? What's all this? I need to correct that shit. Oh man, I don't like that at all. Come here looking like Tiger. So anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments below. If you like this video, crush, destroy that like button and hit that subscribe button if it's your first time. I'll be back tomorrow to do my live player ratings for the first time with a guest. So be sure to not miss out on that. In the meantime, I'm out of here, people. Take care.